Welcome back. You're tuned in to Market Fatafat, where we are telling you all the stocks that are buzzing away in trade. But before we get started, let's move on to an exclusive interaction that we have for you. My colleague Prakash Priyadarshi caught up with the MNRE Secretary B.S. Bhalla on the green hydrogen schemes. Let's listen into this slice of that conversation.
We have pilot project for steel, shipping and long-haul transport. There are three sectors we have taken up for pilots. And all three sectors we've come out with a scheme for supporting them. We have different allocations for all three pilots. And all three sectors we've come out with bids, and they are now in the stages of being finalized. Steel sector we've come out with bid, but the other two are going to be finalized very shortly.
Okay, and what about the transport sector, which is part of this?
Long-haul transport, we had come out with bids through Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, through ARI, and they've come out with bids, and now they're finalizing it. Should happen very shortly.
Okay, and we have also seen first ever agreement between India and Japan for export of green ammonia. So what the structure of this scheme, and can you also give some details about any such agreement or plan for the future to move ahead?
We're looking at agreements under Article 6.2 with different countries. They're at various stages of discussion. So once we are able to finalize, that will help the green hydrogen, green ammonia exporters to take benefit of it.
Okay, so any such more agreements, sir?
Sorry?
Any such more agreement with other countries?
About 10 countries mentioned in our presentation. We're working with 10 countries. So as and when we are able to finalize, we'll let you know.
Okay, and one more question on the financial support that we are providing for the PM Surya Ghar Yojana. There are some structure of a scheme which have already been announced by the MNRE. So what is the status as of now, sir?
We have a budget of about 75,000 crore for the scheme. Most of it is subsidy for the residential segment, for which we have total component of 65,700 crores for the, and we have already disbursed subsidy of more than 1,500 crores or so in the last few months to more than 1.7 lakh consumers.
All right, moving on to another exclusive chat that Prakash had with the Shipping Secretary at T.K. Ramachandran on the government's new policies to introduce major reforms for the shipping industry. Let's listen in to that slice of the conversation.
So we are looking at the entire value chain, and the value chain starts with financing, insurance, ownership, leasing, chartering, arbitration, shipbuilding, ship repairs, and then of course flagging, and so on. You know, the entire value chain, we are looking at this operations, of course. So in this...
Does it also include ship manufacturing?
Yeah, building. So shipbuilding, repair, recycling, the entire value chain, which is where we are, trying to concentrate. And the thing is that in many of these areas, we've not been really there. We are just 1% in the world's tonnage. Similarly, we build less than 1% of the world's ships annually. And even on repairs, our ships go abroad for repairs. A large percent of our ships go abroad for repairs. Therefore, we want to create the ecosystem in India, and so we are working towards that.
And how the private participation would be ensured?
Yeah, so entirely driven by private participation. So there are certain schemes which will ensure that the funding support is given to shipyards on the demand side. On the supply side, and on the demand side, we are ensuring that there is aggregation of demand, so that there is demand assurance, there is demand visibility, and so that over a long term, the shipyards can produce the designs that are required by our industry, and they can be produced locally.
Okay, and you are also talking about the formation of SPV. How will it work?
Yeah, so SPVs basically will be a joint venture between the producer of the cargo, the consumer of the cargo, the operator, and the ship owner. So all of them get together so that they are able to use the ship that they own for the kind of cargo movement that is required by India.
All right, moving on then, let's get started with all the stocks that are in focus today. Jinay, you picked up Shriram Finance for us. This counter is moving in trading with gains of over 0.5% right now. Tell us, there's a note by CLSA. Tell us, what is the note saying?
As we have a note by CLSA who have maintained their outperform rating and have given a target price of rupees 3,350. What they say is the company is well placed on loan growth, margins and asset quality side. Also, the company is guiding to about mid-teens growth driven by higher cross-sell of existing products across more branches. From this, companies are planning to open about 100 to 120 branches per year, and they're emphasizing on improving fee income while keeping the operating expenses steady. Also, the collections are healthy and credit costs are in check. And lastly, companies giving a guidance of 100 basis points improvement in ROE per year for the next 2 years. On the back of this, Shriram Finance will be in focus, currently trading with the gains of about 0.6%.
Right, Janay. Also, I can see that Shriram Finance has also roped in Rahul Dravid as their brand ambassador to increase their brand presence. But we'll stay with the Shriram Finance in a special interaction. In fact, my colleague Anurag Shah caught up with Umesh Revankar of Shriram Finance on the festive promotions and listing plans for the insurance companies. Let's listen in to this conversation.
We have very strong presence in the rural market, especially UP, MP, Bihar, where our presence are one of the highest, and that's where we are getting traction from.
Okay, so this festive season also you're targeting around 15-20 or more growth in that?
That's what I was trying to tell, that last year also we had a festive. These are also festive. So festive to festive, we will have to 15-20% growth will be there. But month on month, it will be bigger growth.
Okay.
But year on year, it will be same, normal growth.
Okay. Sir, just want to understand that your insurance subsidiaries, life and general both, they are doing good. So what are the plans going ahead? Are you planning to list these companies to value unlock?
Yeah, definitely. Listing is one of the option, or is the option we have. And we have one investor already in Shriram General Insurance. And Shriram Life also we may get one investor. So definitely we need to give listing so that the investor also is very comfortable.
Okay.
So this is something which you have in plan, but maybe.
All right, coming back to all the stocks that are in focus, Vaishali, you've picked out Apollo Tyres for us. Last 6 months, all right, there seems to be some problems, some technical glitch with Vaishali's audio, but we'll go across to Jinay. Jinay, Ambuja Cement is the name that you've picked out for us. Cement stocks, tire stocks, all in focus due to that decline coming in on crude. But a note also by CLSA has come out in Ambuja. Tell us, what is the note saying?
Well, as CLSA have removed note on Ambuja, they are maintaining actually underperformance rating, and they've given the target price of ₹570. What they say is that Ambuja have reiterated its focus on cost savings, which is driven by improvement in profitability and capacity expansion. Now they have maintained FY28 EBITDA to per ton outlook of ₹1,500 per ton, which will be helped more by with more than 500 per ton cost savings. Apart from this, a large part of the cost savings would be actually driven by higher renewable power usage and usage of captive coal and lower lead distances. Now CLSA is expecting to continue the gain capacity market share through organic and inorganic route with a target of 140 million ton from currently 90 million ton over next 4 years. On the back of this, Ambuja Cements will be in focus, currently actually trading flat.
All right, that's Ambuja Cements, but let's move on to the auto pack that is in focus today because of a channel check that has come out by Nuvama. Let's see what the channel check says. It says that, for the two-wheelers, passenger vehicles and the MHCV dealers indicated a rather positive, they have positive expectations for the upcoming festive period. The two-wheeler festive demand is likely to grow over 15%, led by strong rural demand and continuing urban demand. They also feel that the mass market OEMs are likely to continue to outperform the premium OEMs. The passenger vehicle demand is likely to moderate at single digits. Now, the UV demand is likely to outpace the hatchbacks, resulting in the outperformance for companies like M&M versus Maruti Suzuki. Also, the dealer inventories are high for two-wheelers and the passenger vehicles at 1.5 months to 2.5 months. They're building an anticipation of a strong festive period. So Nuvama has changed the target prices for a couple of companies. We'll see for TVS, they're maintaining a buy. They've hiked the target price to 3,200. For Hero Moto, they're maintaining a buy, hiking the target price to 6,500. Eicher, they're maintaining a hold and they've cut the target price to 4,500. And M&M, they're maintaining a buy. They've cut the target price to 3,700. And for Maruti, they're maintaining a buy and they've cut the target price to 14,600 rupees. So that's where the note is saying. Currently, both the stocks, actually TVS Motors and Hero Motor, both are trading flat. They've given up those morning gains, but currently both the stocks are trading absolutely flat in trade. But we'll move on then. We'll move on to Jinay. Jinay, coming to you, Persistent Systems is what you've picked out for us. Tell us why is this stock seeing movement today?
Well, as Persistent Systems definitely will be in focus, as Persistent Systems Limited and Persistent Systems Inc. have entered into an agreement for an asset purchase agreement with Soho Dragon. Soho Dragon is basically a company primarily included in business providing of IT services to BFSI customers. Now, this acquisition will be done for about $4.7 million US, and the annual revenue expected from this purchase agreement is to be estimated about $9.3 million US. So on the back of this, Persistent Systems will be in focus, currently trading with gains of about 0.8%.
All right, that's Persistent Systems, but we'll move on to the other counter that is in focus today, that is Sona BLW. In fact, the stock jumped 3% in trade today, and it is coming on the back of the fact that it is likely the company is has actually successfully raised 2,400 crore through QIP of equity shares. Now, among the key investors for this is SBI Mutual Fund that has secured a quarter of Sona BLW's equity share. ICICI Prudential Fund has acquired 8.33% of those shares. The company has also approved the issuance of 3.47 crore equity share to be eligible to the eligible institutional buyers at 690 rupees per share. Now, this issue price represents a 1.3% discount to the floor price of 699 rupees and a 3% discount compared to the previous day's closing price of 713 rupees. Now, Sona BLW intends to utilize the funds for the QIP to strengthen its capital structure and support both its organic and inorganic growth strategies. So, Sona BLW is in focus today on the back of successful QIP. But with that, we have come to an end of all the stocks that are in focus today. Jinay, Vaishali, thank you so much for joining us. With that, it's time for us to slip you a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're tuned into Market Fatafat. Let's go across and see what does a recent move in the commodity space really mean. We caught up with Rakesh Arora, who's the founder of Go India Advisors, and Jonathan Barrett, who's the Chief Investment Officer, Prabhudas Securities. Let's listen into what they had to say about the triggers behind this move.
Take the case of power. There is an uptick in investments by private sector in new greenfield as well as picking up distressed thermal coal assets and pumping more money into them. So thermal, renewable, transmission, distribution with smart meters, pump storage, airports, Jewar, Navi Mumbai. These are all happening sectors. In social infra, if you see healthcare, real estate, and now the announcement of new industrial cities. If you see some marquee announcements, there have been the announcements on chips, on mobile manufacture, on batteries with Ambani's, on digital. There is a boom in data centers. And as I said, there's massive investments happening, announced on chips, mobiles, electronics, batteries, etc. So it's not fair to say that private capex is kind of in the wings. It is happening. Now the question is it happening with the levels that government expects? No, it is still the state that is doing the heavy lifting in infrastructure. And there is an added expectation that private sector will rise with even more investments in the manufacturing sector. But as I said, there is a fairly robust investment pipeline happening. And let me also tell you that there is an imminent pipeline, and what I call the imminent pipeline is very mega investments in ports.
Why is that when we speak to, let's say, private companies, there's a gentleman from Macquarie on the show just a while ago, evidence of capacity utilization. I'm talking about the private companies here. That is still looking very somber. It is encouraging, but it is not great. So the point is, if Indian economy is doing so well, if foreign flows are so well, if foreign capital is available on demand, on tap, by now this annual split should have translated into some real numbers. That is what I think we're debating and deliberating. Is it better? Of course it is better, but is it great? Maybe the great is not the right word.
We are always looking at the traditional sectors adding to factories and their capacities. What you're seeing is non-traditional sectors kicking in with capex. Just focus on, out of the three booming sectors, power is traditional, but elements of power are new, like green and pump storage and batteries. Focus on healthcare and defense. These two sectors are seeing a boom in investments. What is happening is traditionally post-COVID, remember that private consumption by all economic measures has been muted. And therefore, even post-COVID, most established FMCG, durables players, etc., and you're seeing that suddenly in automobiles now, the build-up in stocks, private consumption has been muted. So traditional industries are still the ones that already had installed plant and machinery are still to hit that trigger when the boards unanimously say, let's build new factories. So that is not happening in the sectors which are already invested and traditional.
All right, that was Vinayak Chatterjee, founder and managing director, trustee, the InfraVision Foundation, weighing in on the private capex cycle. But moving on then, the former US President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris took the stage for the first time to debate for their presidential debate. Now, laying out their visions for the country, the two rivals clashed on the matter of abortion, Israel-Gaza war, amongst the others. Let's go across and listen in.
They have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me. I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people.
Vice President
stop
Harris,
him.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation
We do have a lot
that
to get.
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. We must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you.
All right, that was a heated debate between Trump and Kamala Harris in their race to the U.S. White House. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Market Fatafat. I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.